This is the first fight against HolyEmblem. I believe this is the Stronghold. This post-match commentary comes after. For those of you watching this, I think what I'm going to do now, because even myself, like the gameplay for Dizzy, Green Armor, and Akates or similar teams like this probably is too repetitive in terms of like all you're doing is recycling the same thing. So I think for these ones, especially for post-match commentary type, because there's no interesting conversation happening from the live recording, I'm just gonna cut this. Now for this one, I actually did int. Lol. It's just like, what the heck, how could this team die? It was pretty funny though. I did show this, I think during the VC as well, during the yggy chat. As everyone knows, the world is crazy now in terms of what's happening, so it's really hard for me to get certain things on live Twitch and whatnot. But anyways, if you guys are watching this, thanks again. I'm just gonna skip this because I'll skip down to the area where I inted, and you guys can enjoy that. I don't even really remember what happened. I think it's just like a bad choice in a certain skill. But anyways, I'm just gonna roll that there, and then we'll move on to the next fight. This was the time I think where I screwed up. Got to a point where the RB proc the Alexis basket on his revive. So no debuff, so of course it hit hard, and I think my heal cycle was either too low or I did something wrong here. But the invincibility, I was trying to get him stunned because his follow-up would be what really kills me. That MLCC speed was really good, and so the barrier came up on Charles, so Charles went down that turn, and then because my invincibility was on Dizzy, then I didn't have the cooldown on my Akate, so I couldn't heal. So I technically misplayed that one for sure, in terms of like which one I should have healed and just kind of banked on surviving in general. I think we still could have won this one if my Akates had the heal. It could have been a 2v3, but anyways, that's the end. So the second one, pretty standard. This one got really close as well in terms of the me potentially losing a character. I actually forgot what happened here exactly, so I'll probably watch this with you guys. Lol. I didn't pre-watch this or re-watch this. And this guild war on as I'm doing this recording is hold on, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 guild wars in. Like I haven't voiced over this for 7 guild wars, and I took a break on 2 guild wars, so this is pretty old. This one's pretty old, but pretty standard. Generally the team I'm using on the left there is like on these kind of teams, like ML Chloe, unless ML Chloe has like insanely good stats, generally she can't recycle the revive twice. In terms of good stats, I mean like tanky, good resistance, and speedy as well to get the turn cycle. This one was really close. There was too much damage from that dual attack on the SSB, and so I think I ended up trying to like chase the heal like as fast as possible. That dual attack there, yeah, that double dual attack really set me back, and no crit allowed this to happen. So my DN was near death. It's a good thing my DN is actually like decently strong. I think on this turn, if I remember quickly, I just S3 right away. No, I don't. I usually don't S3 until ML Ken is pretty much the last DPS standing, because he becomes tricky to fight, especially if he is the like if he's alive again and anyone attacking into him, he can crit and heal potentially. Oh, never mind, I do it. Oh, I think I know why. Okay, so I most likely saw that my S2 could regenerate faster, so I do some damage, and yeah, this part was very worrisome for me, I think, on the DN. So any dual attack or any single attack on the SSB, if she crits, I would have lost her, I think, and it resisted the provoke. So I was trying to kill her off ASAP, because that right there, that would have been pretty tough. If it wasn't for C-Armin's passive, I don't think any other light tank in this fight would have been good. So yeah, versus HE King, I could have lost that that DN there. Although the DN at the end, because of the low resistance I made, I think I could have won without the DN, especially at this point in the fight. But yeah, I gotta work on my crit rate. It's 81 or 82% crit rate. Usually run her with some sort of crit rate imprint or something. And on these ones, because you're feeding SSB so much, I didn't think it was a big deal. But in this one, I got like 0 crit. So that's it for that fight. So the fights from here on were a bit more simple. Again, the top meta, I would say top meta offensive comp would be this one again. Same scenario. This time no attack buffer from the Mei Chloe, so it's a lot easier to take out. Realistically, they would have swapped the Charles in there in this one, and it would have been a completely different fight. The defense would have been a different type of meta. This is a much less effective one because of the double dark elemental, and not enough damage. Not enough damage to really threat the light element.
Let's advance together.
An Assassin Collie with a Ravi SSB might be a bit better in terms of just defensive like comp. But Assassin Collie, and most people are building their light tanks really good anyway, so Assassin Collie is having a bit of difficulty right now in the meta as well.
I'll show them what I've got.
Yeah, this was much simpler, just because again, do two dark damage. So the previous fight versus HE King, he had the Mei Chloe, so Mei Chloe could have gone for anyone, at least for against my 3. So if she brings in the dual attack, like we saw again with HE King, that would have been, that's just like RNG you don't want. Plus the fact that SSB had an attack buff the entire time. This one, yeah, I mean, no other commentary on this one. This one's like a prevent cleave kind of comp. But outside of that, this is easy bruiser comp. I think almost any healer with like a tank and a bruiser would work on this one too. Doesn't need SSB, but SSB is fairly safe to run on this. Again, with no real threat, and Xiaomin's mitigation is too good.
Let's advance together.
Although I do have to say though, as I'm seeing, because I remember now when we were facing HolyEmblem, there was one thing that stood out to me as a guild, is that all of their names have HE in front. I think it was 99%. I think there was like 1 or 2 players who didn't have HE in front, which I'm assuming they joined the guild after the free name change thing that it was offered through the game. But otherwise everyone else was, so they're pretty dedicated. I am curious, like, that's very dedicated. Like, what if the guild like ends, you know, but everybody would be stuck with HE in their name? I guess they must have figured out either they won't ever disband, or they'll always keep that as like this Medal of Honor maybe. I found that interesting though. Let's yeah, this one was no problem. Again, this double dark elemental is pretty good compared, I think, to the first one. This one's anti-cleave. You don't really want to cleave into an MLK, you just don't know how he's built. And Charles is pretty decent anti-cleave as well. If you're talking about J-Key cleave, that first hit, if he Elbruses you double with the MLK, it's like there's no way. Plus he has an A Sid there to prevent the speed. So they're gambling on multiple things there. Acid is very good. Acid is a very good hero. Right now, compared to Assassin Collie, I find him more effective. He does a ton of damage on his S3. He just, the only thing that he doesn't have is the attack buff, like Assassin Collie. So in terms of the initial 1, 2, maybe 3 hits, Assassin Sid is insanely crazy, but Assassin Collie is scarier when you ramp it up. That's how I feel when I'm fighting them. But this one was pretty simple there. My typical light bait and fire nuke. On Charles, I don't like taking a shot. Like, if I can on Charles fights, I always bring a nuker. You don't wanna chip them down. It's just too risky. All right, and this one, yeah, that's it for this fight. And this is the last fight versus HER7. The first one is again SSB. Like I'm totally abusing this, honestly. The DN, unless you have insanely good resistance, the DN should be on immunity. I've said this before in other Guild War videos. DN, because it's hard to get her with really good resistance and other good stats, it's very hard. Although she has an innate effect resistance in her last awakening. Actually no, she had I think two awakenings. No, it could be just the last one. I remember she has 18. That's all I remember. Versus the Fire Cecilia, you don't even want to take that chance. If that Fire CC was built fast and she provoked your DN, in this comp you would most definitely lose, even with the C armor protection.
I will guide you through the light.
I say most likely, but not all. Like, you know, nothing is for sure, but it's definitely good to run a DN on an immunity set. That's all I have to say. With a effect resistance splashed in would be nice as well, but like I said, I tell players this all the time, like almost every healer has to have some effect resistance, at least 130 minimally. My DN is not running that much, but she still has enough effect resistance to throw RNG. But the immunity on the first turn is super important for me. You just don't want that DN to get pinned down. She's too important, her buffs.
Yes. I'll end this quickly.
Yeah, in terms of just raw threat, again, the Fire CC will only go for
Before it's too late.
C Armin. So really, like, all she's offering here compared to, let's say, Fallen Cecilia, because Fallen Cecilia is used pretty heavily on these kind of comps as well. Is the Death Break, the additional defense break on the Fire CC could come in handy, I think. The immunity is also really good. That's why I literally like the new Fire CC. Immunity, I said that like when they announced the buffs, I'm like, oh, that's so good. If I had her, I would actually use her. Don't know about a defense though, I'm not quite sure. I know a lot of people have been using her successfully on the defense. Because people are just not used to it. Once you get the immunity up, and she's a fire, it's hard to bring in most of the meta strippers right now, which is Bizarre and Alencia, I'd say. Harado, very good, but not exactly on an offensive comp. This one is pretty much the same stuff. You just swap the K-Ron with RB. This is the budget version of Charles CC RB. The K-Ron is pretty much the budget RB in this fight. So I'm gonna skip this one or fast forward this one. There's nothing special that happens here, I believe. No clutch. So I'm just gonna skip down here. Yeah, so for this one, I remember now. I guess one commentary would be the loss of Green Armin on the first fight versus EG King. Had me default to Crow. Again, Crow's not a bad one at all, but you just don't get the guaranteed stun with the Green Armin, which on a Charles fight it could be scarier. The only thing I do like about Crow, of course, is the defense buff. And my Crow is built on high resist, so most Charles won't be able to strip him. The only strip would happen would be on like a Dizzy, but yeah, this was relatively safe. But the threat is much lower because it was a K-Ron. Because for K-Ron, you can keep him debuffed the entire time. So it's not a really big deal.
Now isn't the time.
And I'm just gonna fast forward this part as well because there's not much happening until I grind it down. Yeah, this part was just the end. It took a while for me to grind down that MLCC.
If you're ready, victory is right in front of us.
So those are the 3 fights. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the fights with the editing. you guys pretty much fill in the blanks in between there, unless something juicy happens. Anyways, that's the voiceover commentary for Iggy versus HolyEmblem. Good war, guys. I'm gonna end this for the video recording's sake. If you guys have Discord, check out the Discord server. Follow me on Twitter. Subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.